Joining us on the program, John Cowan. John, kia ora. Welcome to the show today.
Kia ora. It's lovely to be on your wall and to virtually visit your radio parlour.
Thank you very much indeed. And hey, thank you for the excuse and opportunity to throw a Wayne's World quote into my program today. Such
They
a
probably
fun.
don't get much airtime,
No,
but
it
yeah.
doesn't. Yeah. This is one of the more quotable lines. Hey, talking though about self-worth
Mm,
and actually, I don't know. I blame the Protestants on this one. This whole self-flagellation that sometimes people of faith can go through and saying, well, God's great, but I'm just a worm. I'm just a
yes,
terrible, despicable human being with all sorts of faults. And actually, if we can't get on with ourselves, what hope is for our neighbours, honestly?
that's right. What is that verse? I'm not a man, I am a worm or something. I don't know what that context is. But
Is
anyhow,
that from
I,
Wayne's
I
World
don't
or from...
actually
No,
have any. What's that?
that's not from Wayne's World then.
No, I don't think so. I've got no regrets in life apart from the fact that I wasn't someone else.
Oh,
So yeah, sometimes I do get down on myself. The rudest person that I've ever encountered is that person that stares at me as I shave in the morning, staring back at me from the mirror.
yeah.
The things that that person says to me, they belittle me, they play on my failures, they remind me of my faults. As a result, I've given up shaving and just grown a beard. But I mean, it's a very, very common thing. We are our worst critics. We put the handbrake on our progress with our low opinion of ourselves. Don't try to do that because you might fail.
Yeah.
What if you put yourself forward and you don't succeed, or people don't really like you? They're just, all that paranoid stuff uh, that holds us back. It's definitely a thing that teenagers go through.
Is there a
But
Kiwi culture aspect to this? Because nobody likes you if you're too up yourself. I mean, I think
no,
that's
no, well, that has to be balanced with
there's,
that.
there's a
I
little
think
bit of
that's
that.
quite an attractive part of our Kiwi culture,
Yeah,
where we're naturally humble. A good part of mateship is running each other down and
yeah,
insulting each other.
hmm,
But I don't think that's quite the same thing.
yeah,
I think that gentle chiding and telling each other, that insulting each other, that's that's just a strange quirk of Kiwi culture that I find quite endearing,
yeah,
actually. But no, I'm talking about a sort of a continuation of something that we all probably experienced in adolescence.
hmm,
I mean, little kids don't seem to suffer. If you went into a kindergarten and said, "Who here can draw?" Every hand would go up. Who
yeah.
here can sing? Everybody would
They're all
say that.
wrong, but
You went
they're
into
confident.
yeah. If you went into a high school class and say, "Who here can sing?" Everyone would just sort of shuffle and stare at their shoes.
Yeah,
Who here can draw? No, nobody would volunteer. I mean, for some reason, in adolescence, we go through this self-esteem collapse. We fall into this chasm of low self-esteem, and people are aware of this. And an awful lot of youth work and parenting is connecting kids with a better idea of themselves. But I think that for some of us, it persists well into adulthood.
yeah,
I mean, that adolescent self-esteem does get offset as we perhaps make some progress academically and perhaps get a job, and that's always a great vote of confidence that
yeah.
someone thinks you're worth hiring. You get a huge boost to your self-esteem if you actually find someone who's willing to marry you. Amazing. How is this possible that I've managed to con someone into actually spending the rest of their life with me? That's an amazing boost to your self-esteem. But then again, we do get self-esteem knocks, and one of them is, of course, if those relationships then fall over.
Yeah.
Any sort of reversal, any sort of romantic failure means that every nice thing they ever said about you is now negated and reversed,
Mm.
and same with getting a knock at work, getting demoted, getting fired, disestablished, whatever, or or if you had just some sort of failure, getting prosecuted, getting no, just getting doing something that you're ashamed of. It
Yeah.
reduces your self-esteem. So, you know, I think the opposite of low self-esteem is what I call poise.
Hmm.
It'd be easy to think of high self-esteem as being really plucky, confident, and out there, but I think that a much more attractive uh, description of good self-esteem is poise,
It's a
which
shame
I
that
don't.
that is also a brand name of a certain product in the supermarkets.
That's right. Yes.
But we sorry, that's a distraction from the serious point you were making, John. Continue with poise.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I mean, if you've got, does that mean you can sneeze with confidence? But
Yes, you
anyhow,
can. Yeah.
um, no, I'm talking about not just that type of poise, not type of the poise which means having good posture. I'm talking about power held in control.
Hmm.
Power, when you see a great big bloke having a little tea party with their toddler,
Wow.
with plastic cups and things, that's poise.
Yeah.
When you see a leader that's prepared to listen and talk to people and take on board advice and perhaps alter their thinking, that's poise.
Yeah.
They don't need to bluster. They don't need to be bullies. They don't need to boast. They actually know their ability, and I feel confident in being able to be vulnerable, feel confident in being able to be humble with people because they know who they are and they know what they can do. So poise is the goal, but how do you get it? How do you get more poise? And there's a number of things I think you can do. One of them is don't do the comparison game.
Yeah.
Comparison game where you're endlessly measuring yourself against someone else's achievements. Oh, my brother-in-law is so much more successful in business. That person is so much stronger. That person is better at sport. We can always find people that are better at something in it with us.
Mm.
And if you want to make yourself miserable, play the comparison game as
Yeah.
you're driving down the road, comparing your car with the cars coming towards you. Ah, better car, better car, better car. Oh, thank goodness, there's a car that my car's better than. But you can make every trip a misery. Another thing is to perhaps limit the amount that you listen to negative people. We all know a few people that are sort of have got a bit of sandpaper in their personality and
Yep.
grind you down a little bit. And perhaps seek out those people that actually make you feel better, and surround yourself with supportive people.
Mm.
Another is to actually forgive yourself. I mean, those failures, those things that you're not good at, those, acknowledging, realizing that, you're part of a big club if you're not perfect.
Yeah.
And to just sort of say, yeah, I am a human. I could have done better in that situation. I did say something dumb in that meeting, but, nobody died. I can get over this. And just sort of challenging those negative thoughts that you have about yourself. That self-talk that we grind ourselves down with, turn it around to self-compliments, to actually notice when we get something right, to notice a bit of progress, to listen to compliments rather than brushing them off,
Yeah.
and to say thank you rather than challenging them, and gradually learn to get on with yourself. You've got to spend a lot of time with yourself. You may as well get on with yourself. You are stuck with yourself for the rest of your life, possibly longer. So you may as well get on with yourself.
Some very good advice and executed with poise, as
Oh,
always.
thank you.
John,
Thank you.
thank you so much for your thoughts, your wisdom, and thanks so much for being part of the program today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.